What's going on, guys? SpikeZillion here, and as you can see, I'm not platinum yet. It's been pretty miserable trying to go from literally, I think it was rookie tier I was at because I haven't played in like 5 seasons, all the way up to almost platinum tier 5 here. As you can see, I have the 6-win streak. If you look at my match history, I've been doing pretty good. I have not lost in quite a considerable amount of time, other than this loss here, which was, I think, Labyrinth. And most of my losses have been back row heavy decks, and I'm just like losing because I'm going second. You know what I mean? So most of these have been actually going second because of losing coin toss. I'm still winning considerable amounts of matches here. And you might be wondering what deck I'm playing, and as you can see, it says not done, but Harpie Kashtira. The only reason I put not done is because I want to keep testing. But I feel pretty good about this list so far, so let's go in and check out the list. I haven't bought my dual pass yet. I might do that now, because I've clearly been playing quite a bit. Let's have a look at this list. It might look a little egregious at first, but you're going to have to trust me on this one. There's a couple things here that I really have to make note of. If you've seen my Harpie TCG video, if you haven't, please do check that out. I'll try to remember to put this in the description. This is pretty much that. There's a few differences, though, and let's talk about them. So the main difference is the inclusion of Ravine. This has been really helpful. Also, the inclusion of Hysteric Sign. There's 2 reasons for this. The first reason is Arise Heart's not in the game yet. And because Arise Heart's not in the game yet, I'm not going to be banishing every card. It's not Macrocosmos on legs, right? So it only makes sense that I don't end up using Hysteric Sign under Macrocosmos, right? Because it's kind of hard to use Hysteric Sign effect. But what's really powerful about this is that I can actually still use Shang and still use the ability to negate zones quite considerably well while under Sign. Now, there are a few things that come with this. The first big issue is that because I'm not going to be consistently drawing Rise Heart and Fenrir in the same hand already, because they're both, well, in this deck they're both at 2. I mean, technically Rise Heart could be at 3, but I don't have UR for that yet, but maybe I'll do that. Partly Fenrir being at 2 is the big problem, and the reason why that's a big problem is because if I can't consistently draw Fenrir plus Birth, it's kind of hard to get full boards, especially with Ash still being in the format. Now, if you consider the fact that I can still Featherstorm under Ash, right? But not under Imperm, seems like not a bad deal. The only problem is that I'd really like to use my normal summon on a level 7 monster, and be able to make Arsenal Falcon to go into Channeler. The problem is in order for that to happen, that it requires 2 different Ash baits before I get to the Channeler. And if I have Featherstorm in hand, it's not really going to be helpful. And Ash is very popular, naturally, because Max C is very popular, naturally. So, with Ash and Max C being the 2 most popular cards in the entire game, it kind of warps the format a little bit in a way that it's not going to be very common I'm going to go into Arsenal Falcon unless I'm doing it after I get Ashed on Fenrir. Which means I'm probably not going to make Diablosis plus Shang in 1 turn. Which is super unfortunate. I could maybe do one or the other, and that can typically happen pretty frequently as long as my hand's very good. However, on the other side of things where we're linking, it's actually not that bad, and that's the reason why I don't have Rise Heart at 3 yet, or like why I immediately chose not to have him at 3, and it's a similar reason why I don't have him in the Harpie TCG at 3 either. It's because he locks you into Xyz, right? And so will Theosis in TCG. We don't have that in Master Duel, but in TCG, we have Theosis, which is literally just a special summon by targeting. It can be very easy to break. So Theosis is not my favorite card, but it's extremely powerful in this deck. And I can't imagine they're ever going to put it in the game, because this deck's already breaking the game. With that being said, let's talk about some of the bridges we have here and some of the things that we can do differently from the TCG build. I would say the TCG build is something worth watching first, from this point forward. So if you haven't seen that already, please go watch that video first, then come back to this one. I do briefly explain some of the combo lines, and this is going to be very similar. I'm going to try to not retread too much, but I will go over some of the routes. We'll go into solo mode, and we'll check those out as I draw cards. I won't be able to draw whatever cards I want, but you'll have an idea, right? So, big thing is Dragon Ravine. Let's start with that. So, Dragon Ravine is really good here. What's great about Ravine is that, one, it's searchable. We can search it with Romulus, which is awesome. He's the link too. And also, he is a free discard, and that allows us to discard Sign and discard Kashtira monsters. What's really good about this is that if we wanted to, let's say, special summon a monster in our hand, using something like... Well, sorry, special summon a monster using Kashtira Birth, but we can't because we already have a monster on board. Let's say our opponent gave us a token or something and we're going second, so we can't make a cash monster or something because we can't special summon. And we don't want to use our normal summon because we want to, if we want to tribute summon for whatever reason, we can hypothetically do that using Birth, right? Use Birth and then we can tribute summon if we want. Or we just normal summon straight up because we have Birth, I guess. You get what I'm saying? You want to be able to do multiple summons of Kashtira monsters in your hand if you can. Birth is just really powerful, pretty much might as well be a custom card. So, Ravine allows a lot of this to happen. So if I discard Sign, I'm going to search Featherstorm, Channeler, Pet Dragon 99% of the time. If I know I'm facing Lab, I could search Feather Duster or whatever. The other discard would be any of the cash monsters, particularly things like Fenrir or Riseheart in particular are very, very good for the discard fodder. Another one that's a good discard fodder is Tempest, right? And Tempest is back. Now, I think I had him in the TCG list. He's actually off my list now, and I had a few reasons for that. He just isn't consistently usable. However, what's really good about him is that you can send him to the graveyard whenever you want, thanks to Ravine. And he's also great discard fodder, so that if I wanted to search for Legatus, I can do that as well. If you have both in hand, I'm so sorry. You can just send Pet Dragon instead. So you have, like, 5 chances to not brick, I guess. And if you draw all 5 of these, I'm so fucking sorry. But pretty much, if you do have both these in your hand, you can at least discard Tempest and make it a little bit worth your while, because you could still, you know, do something with that if you wanted to, like search Legatus, right? So it's not too bad. Anyway, with that being said, what's another major difference of this? I'm playing 2 Ogre. Partly because we only have 2 Fenrir, I needed to make up a little bit larger body space, so Ogre's kind of just there for that. It's not the best card, but it's kind of good in this format, like more so I'd say than TCG, and that's partly because a lot of situations come up where people want to hand trap a ton, and a lot of people shotgun hand traps in this format, it seems, so far. And what's really annoying about that is that unless you have a cash monster on field, you're really not gonna get a whole lot out of it. And Ogre's really powerful as like a lead target for cash stuff if you can make it happen, because then if you get Channeler on field and you do her effect and they Ash, you get to look at their draw basically and fuck their draw, especially if you're going first. That's incredibly powerful. I'd say Ogre's actually not that bad in this format compared to the TCG. I think in the TCG he's a little bit less powerful, because in general, like, hand traps they're prevalent, but it's pretty much just Imperm, and Imperm doesn't help you, right? Whereas in this format, like, Ash Max C are everywhere. You're definitely going to be seeing Max C more often than not, especially in this format, and people are going to start Max C'ing in draw phase. They might even D-Shifter, potentially. I've seen that a few times. D-Shifter's going to be a freebie for you as well. There's just a lot to consider here. So it's very good that way. Now, what else is different? Let's see. Well, we have Apex Avion, and why do we have Apex Avion? Well, no shit. We have Samorg in the OCG and in Master Duel. And this card also might as well read as a custom card, because this card's pretty broken. The big thing is obviously specialing Apex Avion, but we can also special any Harpy if we want to, which is great, because if we use Ravine to discard Sign, we can special any Harpy we want. Usually it'll be Perfumer, so you can add either Egotist or Hunting Ground, right? Which is also different in our deck, by the way. Hunting Ground is here. And I actually might implement this in the TCG, because it's actually working really well for me. Anyway, yeah, so then we have Hysteric Sign. We search Featherstorm. Now we have Featherstorm live because Perfumer's on field, right? That's a free way to set up Featherstorm. So it works incredibly well here. And because of that, I don't know, it's just a very exciting thing to be able to have Featherstorm off the rip. Basically, not allow our opponent to play at all, and then we basically get a free battle phase next turn, which is extremely powerful. Also, if they absolutely have nothing to remove Samorg with, like, let's say, for example, they didn't have Lightning Storm, for instance, yeah, Samorg is definitely cooked. Or cooking, rather. The opponent is cooked. Because Samorg is there, special summoning another monster after that. It could really just be Apex Avion if you want to just have another negate for free. Yeah, it's quite scary. This is quite a good card, the Samorg Link. It's very powerful. So let's talk about Hunting Ground for a tiny bit. Another thing that's really great about this deck is having Hunting Ground. So this card, when a Harpy monster is special summoned, the player who conducted the summon targets a spell or trap on the field and destroys it. Obviously, Labyrinth is kind of popular right now because of Kashtira. Labyrinth is actually a pretty decent Kashtira counter. It's not the best, but it's not bad, right? You can do a lot with the deck. And with that being said, especially because they don't have they have a lady that says untargetable when she has set cards on her field, and she gets set a card, so that's quite silly. Hunting Ground is a not once per turn, every time you special Harpy, pop back row, which is incredibly good, because although they might have ways to shit on your summon, which is not great, and because Harpies can sometimes struggle to, you know, play long turns with Harpies, it can be kind of daunting, but you have the potential to maybe even summon up to 3 or even 4 Harpy monsters in one turn with the help of Channeler, discard a Harpy monster, special Perfumer, add Egotist, special Lady 1, and then link them off into Conductor, right? That's 4 Harpy monsters. We have a potential for up to 4 summons and 4 pops, which is incredibly strong, and that would possibly even include Hysteric Sign, which again allows you to get Featherstorm, which is pretty broken. And Feather Duster, which is obviously also broken. You could also just pop Featherstorm to search Feather Duster if you really needed to. I don't think that's ever necessary. You pretty much never do that. But in theory, you could do that and get Feather Duster as well. And you can do that from grave. So you can actually re-add Feather Duster and reuse it from your graveyard, which is incredibly powerful. So these are the things to consider with Hunting Ground and with Ravine. These two are very powerful field spells. And together in this deck, they actually turn out really powerful. Really scary stuff. Now, you've seen Birdman. I am not playing him at 3. There's a couple reasons for it. Honestly, I just feel like I don't end up making AFD very often. And the bounce is kind of whatever. The only reason why the bounce is really good is because you can bounce Channeler. So the idea is this. You would basically go Channeler effect, discard a Harpy monster, special Perfumer, add Egotist, special Lady 1, right? So now you have Channeler, Perfumer, Lady 1 on field. You go Birdman, bounce Channeler for cost, special Birdman. And then you can go one of the level 4s plus Birdman into AFD. AFD can pop the field spell, right? If you have a field spell, and search the other field spell. You'll also gain 1,000 life points, which is just bonus, right? But the part you care about is the special summon a level 4 lower from your hand. And what that means is you can special Channeler, and because there's a dragon on field now, because AFD is a dragon, Channeler becomes level 7. You now have a free rank 7 to make, which would be Shang, or Diablosis, or like whatever you want, Galaxy Tomahawk. And boy oh boy, is Galaxy Tomahawk a terrifying monster. Let me tell you, this thing should not be legal, but it is. This is the freest link power in the game, pretty much. Now you have to keep in mind that this will not work if you're under Rise Heart special summon effect. It won't be very helpful. So I would recommend against... Oh gosh, sorry, I had to yawn there, I don't know why. I would recommend against using this when you've specialed Rise Heart this turn. But that being said, this is a very powerful card because you can just link into everything. So pretty much, you can link 2 into Conductor, then 2 into IP, and then those into Avermax. And even then, you might still have other tokens on the field still left to use. You could also do like Conductor on field, then Romulus, then IP. Use Romulus, add Ravine. If you have more cards in your hand, you can start discarding stuff if you want. Go into some Morgue. If you have Conductor on field and you discard Sign with the Ravine, you get Featherstorm. Do you see where I'm going with this? Like, there's so much nuance to this deck, and it all works so incredibly well for absolutely no good reason other than the fact that these cards should definitely not be in the format, but they just are. So it's pretty funny. And let's go check out some combos now, because I think at this point, you get the idea of what's happening here, but you want to see it in front of you. So let's go open up the solo mode and see what we can do with it. Let's see what the first hand's going to look like here. Okay, this is not a particularly powerful hand. However, if we were going second, this might actually be a decent hand. This is not particularly good, but we can kind of make it work. So we can actually talk about one of the things I said with Ravine during this duel. But first, let's start with a Perfumer special. Now, obviously, if Ash happens here, then, you know, you hold the L and you cry, just like me. But it's okay. We're going to try to make this work. So we're going to go Ravine here. We'll go Ravine. We will discard Rise Heart for cost. Now, we could get Tempest here. I'm trying to think if it would be worth it. If we do, we can make a rank 7. We can make Shang. Shang's not bad here. We should try to make Shang, I think. Let's do that. So this might seem quite interesting, quite silly. But there is a way to theoretically do this. So we're going to discard Rise Heart. We're going to send Tempest. Right. Then we're going to activate Egotist. Egotist, we're going to special Lady 1. We are going to link. The reason we want to link is because we want to get these guys in the graveyard. In this case, we'll just go with IP here. Because then we can just link off on my opponent's turn, right? So this is quite good. Now we have Tempest available. Let's go ahead and Tempest. Banish these guys. We'll get Tempest on the field. Now we'll go Birth. We will activate Birth, and we will special Rise Heart. Okay, now we'll go Rise Heart effect. Here we can banish whatever the hell we want. Unfortunately, because we've already used Birth's effect, it's kind of less good here, so I'm actually going to go for an Ogre, and there's a couple reasons why. Mostly because we want to use the Shang effect. So we've banished 3 from our opponent's deck here. And now we can go Shang, or we can go Diablosis, but we'll go Shang here. Just so you can see Shang is here. There we go. And remember, we have IP for next turn, right? So now when we end phase here, we're going to have Shang. Shang is going to activate effect here. We're going to be able to special a Cash. We're going to special Fenrir. And that's all she wrote, pretty much, because at this point, we could almost even IP here. That being said, we would have needed a legal target, so, you know, if I had half my brain, I would have thought about that. But anyway, that's fine. We still have Fenrir on board. It's okay. They're going to special a monster. They're going to go battle phase and try to attack us directly here. So yeah, you get the idea at least. That hand wasn't the best. Let's check out another hand. Obviously, Monarch is kind of a pissy example, but I don't really have much to go off of. This hand is egregiously bad, but I can kind of make this work. We're going to special Unicorn. We'll go Unicorn effect. We will add Birth. This might seem kind of strange, but I'm actually going to normal Tempest off this Birth. Rather than Unicorn here. Here is where we can start using Arsenal Falcon to our advantage. We're going to Arsenal Falcon here. This is so that we can get Harpy stuff going. I can at least do that much. Here we'll detach Tempest. And here we actually can special Perfumer if we want to. Or we can special Channeler. If we special Channeler, there's not really a whole lot we get out of that at the moment. So Perfumer is actually probably more favorable, so we can search for Hunting Ground. Right. Now we go Egotist here. Special 81. And from here, we can link if we wanted to. If we link, we can go into Ravine. Ravine would give us... Oh, why did I detach Tempest? I'm actually brain dead. Because I could use Birth to special. That's okay. We can also do it the Romulus way, if we wanted to. We could pretty much just be linking to shit, effectively. Theoretically here, we actually should be able to make Shang plus some Morg here. Because we can make some Morg using our Arsenal Falcon. We'll actually add Ravine here. We'll activate Ravine. We'll go Ravine effect, we'll discard Unicorn here. Yeah, we could just add a Dragoonity monster, why not? We don't even need the Arsenal Falcon, actually. We can just use Legatus for this. That's cool. Legatus, go. Then we have Birth. Birth effect, special Unicorn. Now at this point, Tempest here will go. So now we've utilized most of our hand here. At this point, we can't activate Featherstorm because there's no Harpies on field, but that's okay. We're kind of chilling for now. At this point, we can make some Morg using Romulus. Now, mind you, we will be able to Featherstorm on my opponent's turn because we're gonna special with some Morg, right? Which is great. And then here we can make Shang or we can make Diablosis. In this case, we'll just make Shang. Because we don't really need anything else. We don't really have anything to banish face down, so it's not really worth doing Diablosis here. And then yeah, here we're gonna get some Morg, we're gonna special one. We can special Apex Avion here if we want to, but in this case, because we have Featherstorm, I think we'll grab Channeler here. Hopefully our opponent won't be able to do anything about this Channeler. Obviously it's Monarch, so they're not going to be able to do jack shit, but you know what I'm saying. Now we'll special Fenrir again. And away we go. And they go Thunder Dragon. Yeah, so pretty much, yeah, we just Featherstorm and that's it. And they lose. Pretty much. Because then Shang next turn is going to give me a special summon. Arsenal Falcon's going to give me a special summon. Some Morg's going to give me a special summon. It just never ends. In fact, I can't even special with Shang if I do that. Unless he kills my Harpy like that. Which is great, because now I get to pick whatever I want. Fantastic. So now we're going to special... I mean, you could special fucking Apex Avion if we wanted to. But because we don't really need Hunting Ground, I'm just going to go for Channeler again, because we can discard the Hunting Ground for cost. What do we add? Oh, baby! That looks like a full combo to me. That's fucking nasty. Here we'll grab Ogre. We win at this point. Like, how do you lose? If you're playing cash, you actually choose to lose. I tell you, I'm telling you right now, you genuinely choose to lose. It's so fucked up. Like, my hand wasn't even that good. My hand was particularly bad, and I got a board like that. So that just goes to show you the power of this kind of weird ass situation. Let's try it again. Yikes! It's only getting worse. The game is like genuinely trying to fight me at this point. But like we can make this work, I suppose. Let's see. What can we do about this? Special Rise Heart. Rise Heart gives us... If we special Rise Heart, we're locked into Xyz. Do we have a reason to be locked into Xyz? I could also just normal. And then if I'm not, and then I'm not locked, I go into Arsenal Falcon. Arsenal Falcon, we get Perfumer, add Egotist. Ah, okay. Yeah. This is better. We actually normal Rise Heart here. Effect of Rise Heart will banish a unicorn. Okay. And then we'll go Arsenal Falcon here. Arsenal Falcon's a really good bridge to get to the Harpies. We go Arsenal Falcon. We're going to detach Fenrir here. We'll go Perfumer instead of Channeler, because we don't have a Harpy card in hand. So we'll go Perfumer here. Perfumer, we add Egotist. We will go Egotist. Special Lady 1. Can activate Sign to add back the Egotist we just used. Egotist. There we go. And now we can make some Morg with this if we want to. We could also get Romulus while we're at it. Actually, that'd be quite bonus, wouldn't it? Romulus would get us Ravine. I mean, that's a free ad. Why not? Right. So we have Romulus. Romulus effect. We add Ravine. We don't particularly need a level 7, but we could make one. Where would that take us? We would almost have enough summons here to actually make Avramax plus some work, which is pretty disgusting, actually. But let's just go with it. Let's see where this takes us. I almost would rather have a level 4 more, because then I could make... What can I make with that? I can make a rank 4. I could theoretically make Abyss Dweller if I think I'm fighting tier. It's not too bad. I could also just make Baguska plus some Morg, which doesn't sound very good, actually. I could also link into Conductor under some Morg. Not sure where that would take me. It's kind of a weird one, right? That's strange. I suppose I'll add instead, actually. Right. Now, we go Legatus. Special. Here we'll go some Morg here. Yeah, I suppose Arsenal Falcon's fine to get rid of, right? It's okay. Then we can just go Conductor or IP Masquerena as our other summon here. In this case, I'll go with Conductor, I suppose. So I can pop Ravine, I guess, if I need to. I don't need to, but I suppose I could do that. I'm so close to Avramax, man. That's so tragic. I'm so very close. I don't even think I can... Oh yeah, I don't have Tempest Engraved. Never mind. I was gonna say, I don't even think I can do that. It's a forehead moment. And now with some more, this is a pretty normal Harpy combo, basically, from here. But this started with a cash hand, right? So, keep that in mind. Pretty deadly. So here we just add Apex Avion. Or special it. Let's do one more hand. I feel like we gotta get one good hand, right? We gotta get one hand that goes batshit crazy. This is not exactly what I had in mind. It's not terrible. I'll just do effect for fun. Add this. This is a free discard, I guess. Activate Birth here. And we're actually gonna normal the Unicorn. Because then we can use Channeler effect, discard Channeler to get a pet dragon. Later. And we'll go Arsenal Falcon once again. And this also gives us a birth effect special. So we'll go Channeler here. Channeler effect, discard Channeler. Special Pet Dragon. Now, we could have also just went Perfumer, and then we could have made some Morgue with our 3 Harpies, basically. But I want to go rank 7 plays pretty hard. So let's see how hard we can go. Boom. Okay. So here, we can go Diablosis. Or we could go Romulus Send Tempest. Which isn't too bad. Romulus seems pretty good here. In fact, we can use Arsenal Falcon as part of our requirements. And if we do that, we get Tempest, Tempest Special. I'm trying to think of the lines here. Tempest Special. We don't get... We'll have Tempest. If we get 2 Shang, we can have Unicorn and Fenrir on board, which is not too bad. If we go Diablosis, it's kind of worthless. So yeah, I suppose we could do this way. That works. Let's go Romulus. The fun part about this deck is there's so much experimentation to be had, right? There's infinite possibilities here. That's the part that's exciting about it. We're gonna activate Ravine. We'll discard Birth. And we will send a dragon. We will most certainly use him. I will tell you that. And it's nice because we can use cash for free. Because they get specialed from either grave or banished. So that's fucking busted. Once again, these are custom cards, I swear. Alright, so we have 3 level 7s. We have lots to play with now. But what we're going to do is we're going to just go Shang here. We actually do have the ability to go into Galaxy Tomahawk here. The problem is the viability of that situation doesn't seem particularly great. I think I'm also locked in some way, I think? Am I wrong on that? I think I'm wrong. I don't know. Doesn't matter. We'll just go Shang. It's a simple board. Perfectly fine. Right. So now we're going to start locking zones. This is zone locking time, right? Because now we go Fenrir plus Unicorn and have some fun. If it's Monarch like this shit, like this really bad deck is, I could go Ogre instead. Start looking at their draws instead because they're not gonna go effect until like later anyway. So yeah, I think this gives you a pretty good idea of how the deck works. Obviously, I didn't get a great example here, unfortunately, but I'll show you a really cool example of a time I did that was quite silly. I'll give you one quick replay here. Let's go to... I actually had a really fun duel just before I started recording. I figured this would be a good example of a crazy turn that kind of turned out good for me in the end. There's a few of these that are really good and worth watching, but this one in particular I thought was quite fun. Let's check this out. This is against Labyrinth. I did end up getting coin toss, so obviously that is very good for me against Labyrinth. However, there was potential for them to shit on me, and that's pretty tough. Because this hand was bad. Just full stop. This hand was really not good. We're going to start with Rise Heart here. Rise Heart. We're going to go Birth. We are going to special Fenrir with Birth. Go Fenrir. It's going to get ashed, which is tough, right? At least I had Birth. If I didn't have Birth, this would not be happening right now. We're gonna go rank 7. We're going to make Arsenal Falcon. We're going to alleviate the situation. Go Channeler. I didn't have to do that. My brain was just farting really bad. It was bad. Romulus here. Now we're gonna be able to alleviate everything I just did wrong. So we're gonna go Ravine. Ravine, discard sign. We can either send or add. We're going to add Special Legatus, right? And we're going to go into some work. So now we're going to get Featherstorm in the end phase, and we're going to have a Harpy monster on field. Plus we have prep on field for later. We're going to add Egotist. Sign, we're going to add Channeler, Pet Dragon, Featherstorm. Right? This is fantastic. I still don't know what he's playing yet. I have no knowledge. Which is super shitty. Because lo and behold, it's Lab. Yikes. I should have added Feather Duster. But oh well. We have to play it out now. And I don't think this is a particularly great matchup. At the very least, Samorgan making it a ton easier. Because I special in the end phase, and he has a set 4. And just look at me funny. I go Fenrir early, because I want him to start triggering stuff. And he is triggering stuff. However, I think I misplayed, because I should have activated Prep before I went Fenrir. But it turned out okay in the end. Because then I flip Prep here, and I go to Special, and then he's forced to use EEV here to call trap cards, which is incredible. Obviously, the one thing that sucks about that is that I couldn't Featherstorm if I had Featherstorm in hand again, the second copy. But he actually knew all the cards in my hand, I think, except for Tempest, so it didn't really matter. Here, I use normal Tempest. Obviously, we have the IP here, which we'll see what happens to that in a moment. But I go Special Pet Dragon, and then normal Tempest. This is so that if he doesn't go with anything here, I can make Big Eye with this. If I can find a way to pop, I will in a second. The thing is with this back row here, is that I want them to proc the back row, so that's why I did this in the first place. But even if they don't, this is pure bonus, because I already have a rank 7 ready to go if they don't do anything. They end up doing something to this IP, they do Compulse, which actually is pretty funny. It makes a bit of sense. It makes a tad bit of sense. So, they're going to have 2 sets. IP is going to get bounced. Now I go Arsenal Falcon. We special Perfumer. Perfumer effect. Add Hunting Ground. We are now going to Hunting Ground. It is time to start popping. Special Lady 1. Pop the active back row. Cool. Special Conductor for funsies. Pop the other back row. Now here's the funny part. Have you ever read this card? Oh, you know what I'm about to go into. Okay. Take a guess what I'm going into. Leave it in the comments. Because the answer will not shock you if you read the first sentence of this card. While you control a set card, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Also, it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Would you look at that? There's no sets. Take a guess. Leave it in the comments now. You got it? It's my boy, Big Eye, baby. We're going to rob him of his card, and we're going to win the game with his own card. And just to BM, we're going to Special Tempest. It's not even necessary. And there we go. He's dead, Jim. Or she. Who knows. Boom, baby. I love that. That's hype. Good times. So yeah. That is Harpie Kashtira in a nutshell. Obviously, it's a little bit more Harpy than it is Cash in a lot of places. But Cash gets you to a lot of places you want to be. Shang is an interesting one too, but yeah, we love boards like this. We love the situations like that. So, yeah. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll get to them at some point. Also, I want to make a video later down the line. Someone suggested me to make a video about what all the Harpy cards actually do and explaining them more in detail. And I think that's a good idea. I should maybe do that. Let me know in the comments if you're interested in something like that as well. And yeah, if you haven't already, subscribe and all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time.